Alright, hello everybody, welcome back. Today I have a huge tablet. This tablet, someone was trying to replace a battery, the connector broke off, and someone else tried to repair it with super glue. A bunch of messes happened. It's very, very bad. Yeah, we'll see more of it under the microscope. So what we have to do now is get this board out. We found a donor board that we can use the components off of because the parts were unavailable. And let's get to it. Let me see what I have to do to get this board out. And all hopes that this actually works when it's done. The speaker comes out. It just snapped in there. One speaker. Set that aside. Another speaker. The speaker is like covering the board. I've got to remove those. I've never worked on this tablet before, other than I've replaced a screen on one similar. I think this one is much larger. So yeah, we also will have to repair and replace this connector on the actual battery itself too, so that's going to be a challenge. But we will see about that later on. Get everything disconnected. There's a lot of connectors on this. I believe this one's a digitizer or LCD. I don't know. One or the other connector. Almost got everything disconnected. I think that's it. Let's see if it comes out. Oh, there's a cable over here. Got it disconnected. And look at it. Came right out. Piece of cake. Set this aside. And let's go look at this under the scope. Alright, let's see where we can focus at. So this is pretty damaged. Yeah, so I can see there's a pretty damaged component here. There's some flux residue, some solder paste residue. There's a missing component here. So I'm gonna try to study the other board. It's a different model, a smaller model, so it's a little bit different layout. And we're gonna hope that I don't see any other physical damage other than right here. We'll try to let me get this cleaned up. There's some missing pads. I got 1, 2, 3, and I don't know how well this pad is on or this one. Let me get it cleaned up and then see where we're at. I'm gonna get this chip removed. I don't even know what that chip is. Right, clean it first. If there's a marking on the chip itself, I don't think so. I don't see a marking. Very, very faint, maybe. Oh yeah, see something that says like an A on one row, like right here is an A, and this is something 04. Yeah, so let me get this cleaned up a little bit. We'll go from there. my fan on, some flux down. I wonder if I can get these off. I don't know what kind of came off. What residue is on here, or what kind of solder paste that they have put on here. Someone put some solder paste on it. I don't know which one what kind it is. It seems to be working well with it. I need to remove those. Oh, I'm melting my board here. Oops. I forgot to use my mat. Oh, bad one. Alright, focus back in again. I have a little heat mat that doesn't burn, but not under this mat. Alright. Get this off. See about getting some of this solder out here. Some solder balls. There's a component there, I don't know what that is. Let's see if I can get the solder off of it. I'm going to get this off. So what's good, some of these are ground, so they're very hard to get off. Let's go zoom out a little more. So these little ground parts, or ground pads, that go through the board. I want to get the solder out of it because when I put the other connector down, I want it to sit in it. So usually what's good if you just get it hot enough. Once you use your wick, the wick will take it right up once it's hot. And if it still does it, like it is now, you can use your wick. You can't really see it. Wait till it gets to the other side. Oh, it's got a lot of solder. You can heat it up and use your wick at the same time. I'll have to flip the board over. Well, let's go ahead and get this other solder cleaned up. Excess solder here and there. I'll get this cleaned up a little bit. Get that out of the way. I'll shift this over. Maybe you can see it better. There's some solder gunk in between here. Don't need the fan on right now. It's barely cleaned up. Looks a lot better than it did. Focus that maybe. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'll flip the board over and try to get the rest of this soldered out of these two joints here. So let me cut off a new piece for my solder wick. Where do my snippers go? Sometimes you can put some low melt solder on there, and also you do it that way. This is a big board, I don't want to keep putting more solder on it. Sit on it, put a fan on, heat, about good. Those are just ground, so it doesn't matter too much. Alright, so got the holes cleaned out, look pretty clean. I'm going to focus now. I wonder what this pad is. I think the pad's just the ground. My multimeter is not really working well on the screen, so I'll just have to tell you what I see. Turn the fan off. No, looks like it's not a ground actually. So it's connected somewhere. I just don't know where. Not a ground. Not a ground. That's ground. So this is ground, and this side is not ground. So this is like the reverse gate, I think, maybe something like that. So if, why would that be? And this has to be main. It must be like a diode, a big diode. Ground. Yeah, so this side, top of this is a ground. So this is also ground. Because I'm getting, we'll leave it ground. Now ground, not ground, not ground, ground, not ground. Ooh, I'm confused here. I'm trying to understand how this circuit works, make sure the component I put on is the right component. Let me look at my donor board. Oh, where did I put it? Alright, so grab the donor board, and so I can see there's a connector on it. This is the connector I'll have to try to salvage, so I'm going to use low melt solder paste to remove this connector. That's going to be work best, this way it'll leave it completely intact. I think the component that's broken is this one. I think it's this. I think it's a diode. It's almost the same layout, almost. I think what I need to do is the connector's the same. I'm pretty sure once I look, actually these two were ground. I know that for sure. So this is ground, ground. These two are like battery data. I'm getting 516, 7 something, and then this is positive, so 480. That's pretty much how it works. When I go back to here, on this one, this should the exact same pin, right? So this is ground, that's ground. Battery data, 530, and I'm getting like 4 something. And then this is positive. Yes. So this one's also positive. Yes. All right. So this is the diode off of ground. Oh, it's not ground no more. I'm not sure. I'm sure why I got a ground reading before. Oh yeah, you got this top is ground, this bottom is not. The power goes through here, and then I'm pretty sure it switches over, and then connects to here. And this capacitor is just a there's a word for it. I forget what it is. Engineering thing. But so I'm gonna gotta replace that component. So I'm me see if I can get this off. The heat is set a little bit hotter than normal. Normally I have it set at 380. I have it set at 405 now. This is a bigger board, so it might take a little bit to melt it. I'm pretty sure this is just the capacitor sitting here. So I'll look at the other one and see how it runs. Come on, melt. There it goes. Oh, it's a lot of components. So there's a particular direction this one's going to sit on the board. Let me set that down there. Let me zoom in on there. I think I could figure out which direction it is. I think there's one pin touching what would be the battery data. And there's probably some pins touching the positive side. Yeah, so as I look down, I'll clean it up some. Get some heat. So this is like the Tigris on an iPhone chip. So we have these two pins, and these three up here are for direct battery power. Let's see, battery power comes in here, and it probably bridges. So when it activates, which this pin's probably the activation, the enabler, then it connects. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connects these to it, and this is ground. As soon as this pin, this is what I'm guessing, this pin activates, and then like a electronic relay, enables it and basically sends power throughout the rest of the board. Now with that being said, let me see if I can test what's ground, what's not. I think I can. Let's see if I can turn on the beep on this setting. So this should be ground. Yep. And that one is the open line. Oh. That's an open line. Am I getting open line? No, let me change this back. Maybe the mode's different. No. Yeah. So 609, 749, and 379. Well, yeah. So I think the other chip is probably what this one is. All I gotta do is make sure the direction of what pin 1 is. Now, I'm gonna guess that one of these arrows on the side means pin 1. Yeah. So we'll look at the other board and see how that looks. As I can kind of see, I see there's that one leg of ground, which is here, which is that corner. I'm pretty sure that this corner on the other board is pin 1. The ground should always be the same, and then I can see something coming off this one here. So let's see, do I get a signal? I get a signal off of it. Here is that ground. Yep, so this pin is definitely ground. So this is chip we're missing now. On the other side of it, I'm missing a component. And even if I'm missing a component, I want to kind of verify that these other components are correct. So on this one, hopefully you guys saw all that. On this one, I'm missing this one here. So there's 1, 2. It's coming off this ground, so there's a resistor, pretty big resistor, and then 2 other components. So let's go back to this one. This is our ground, and there's a big resistor, so nothing on the other side. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a big resistor on here either. Look like maybe it would have gone here. I don't know. I guess I'll leave that component off. If anything, it's just a capacitor, so it might not matter. Let me get, first I want to do is actually get this connector off. I want to get the battery connector off because I don't want to damage the battery connector. And I'm going to apply more heat to get this off. So actually I'm going to set my temperature down. I'm going to put it at like 260, maybe 300. I'm going to put my low melt solder on. First thing I'm going to do is actually low melt solder these. I could clean it off and then put low melt solder on it, which would be better. Or put my low melt on it and then clean it off. Let's see. This one's lead-free 138, so it melts relatively low. I don't know how well it's going to mix with this board. It mixes okay with the iPhones, but I'm not sure on Samsung. Say okay because it doesn't mix very well. So some heat. Work it in there. Same thing here. Rack it in there, and then we'll wick it. So this should help to remove the majority of it. Heat again. Oh, can't really see what I'm doing. Bad example. I zoomed in too much. Zoom out a little bit. I am zoomed out. Alright, ready, focus. Yeah. I'll put a little bit of the solder, low melt solder on there, and then wick it some. Well, it's coming out. Got a little left. There's a little left. I'm gonna put some more low melt solder on it. The low melt solder will do well when removing the connector, because if I have to make it hotter, there's a chance of burning the connector, and I don't want to do that. So, turn on the fan. I want to breathe this in. It's going. Alright, so I got those covered. Flip back over. Now I want to see about these pins on the top side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm literally just gonna put some flux down. And then I'll slap some solder paste in it. this works. So, another good trick is to also cover your connector in flux. This will help keep it cooler so it doesn't melt too. Crazy enough, but it works. Alright. Heating it up. I guess I don't need to touch those. I think it's good to come off now. Nope, don't melt it. Alright, so I got that off. These are a little stubborn. Let's I don't think I can poke it through. Let me use something to prop it up a little bit higher. And in that case, I can push it through once I melt it. Maybe? Let's try this again. I can melt these, and then I can push this stud through. I don't know what it looks like. Did it come out? I don't think so. I gotta push harder. Use one side of the tweezers. There it goes. There it goes. Alright. Connector should be off now. Alright, it's off. Great. That's what I needed. Set that aside. Let's now deal with this component here. This charging IC, I guess. Crank up the heat. Now I'm going to try to see if I can put it down without having to reball it. So if I can get it off cleanly, I can set it down. There'll be enough solder left on the IC that I can put it down on the other one. Usually when you do this, the trick is to get all of the solder flowing. So you want to make sure you have enough flux. And then you see how it's free now? It's not as easy to move, so jiggle it and lift it as evenly as you can. So it looks like there's enough even balls on the board, so there should be enough even balls on the IC. So set that aside, bring the other one back, and so there's where it's going to go down to. So what I'm going to do is hold on, don't reorientate it, and one is right there. I'm going to put some better solder down now. This is 183. me zoom down a little more so I can see it better. And so it looks like there's enough solder on each of the balls there, or the pads. Add some flux. Just a little bit enough. I got some flux on my finger. Wipe it off. Okay. So do you know pin 1 is here? Actually, it's gonna go down like that. So we can get that melted down. Not quite. Almost. Alright, looks like it's good. Alright. Now we gotta put the connector on. So connector fairly easy, and then the only thing I need to do after I put the connector on is add solder to it all. Now, let's pull the connector over here. Let me clean it up a little bit from the flux residue so it's not too messy. Get this cleaned up. I've noticed one of the pins still has some solder on it, right here. So I want to clean that up a little bit actually. Put some flux down. Just don't want it to be too much hanging around. I want this to fit in the hole actually. So, alright, that's it. Alright, so this chip is bad. Right into the garbage. This is the new connector, or we can call it the new connector, even though it's an old connector off another board. See how now that fits in there pretty well. I was concerned about this pin in the back that I wouldn't have enough to solder to. It looks like I got more than I need. And then I can run jumpers on these. I could put it beforehand, but I got some big jumper wire, so I won't need to worry about that. But what I do want to do is actually, I'm going to tack 1, 2, and then I'm going to try to solder these front pins. So, add some flux. I could just put some paste down there, and it would probably work just as well. But I don't want to have too much paste on the board. So, dip into my extra paste jar. And make sure connector down. 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 Oh, there's nothing there. Alright, so those are down. And flip this back over so you can see the 2 pins in there. Let's solder these down. One. 2. I'm going to use a little bit of heat too, so I'll make sure I can get enough solder through the whole, through it all. Because maybe it just solders the top. I'm going to make sure I get to the bottom. looks good from here. We'll see if it moves on the other side. No, these not moving. It's not all the way flat, but it could be alright. Alright, let me readjust this so you can see the back. And yeah, so I believe this pin got connected. Check this pin. Or not. It's working. Maybe it's not connected. I don't get a signal from it. Yeah. Alright, so we still gotta resolder all of those. Let's get to it. Some more flux. We do have some solder core. Solder, I think a resin solder core in there maybe. Yep, those 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This one needs to be connected. Oh, let's see, maybe I can bridge it. Bridged it. Good. Let's see if I can bridge this one. Yep. Bridged it. Oh, I don't think I can bridge this one. It's too big of a gap. Came out a little bit. I don't know if it matters. Let's see if we can get a wire in there. Okay, go get some wire. I think I need to coat it first. Alright. Let's coat this. Run to the same place, I'll just bridge it over here. Good enough, right? Solder and solder. Get a new razor blade. Now let me test all my leads. I'll go this way. So these two should get the same reading, so they're positive. 556, 556. This one had a little higher reading. It's 426, 521. I think that was right. This is ground. That is ground. So battery's in there. There's an extra solder on that. Let me just clean that up a little bit. It's good enough. All right, now we can clean it. Then we gotta fix the battery itself. this way. Try to flush it out as much as I can. All right. You know, a good trick to also flush it out is when you take your rag, you can literally soak it and then dip it on there. It'll also help flush it, and then it'll suck up the remainder. So still some junk in here I want to get out. If I can get that in there a little better. Yeah, I feel pretty confident that that's the right position for that IC chip. Looks still a little dirty. Try to clean it one more time. Because it doesn't have to be perfected. Obviously not brand new. It looks good from here. Everything's connected. A little shanky, but it works. All right. So now that's done. I'm gonna grab the battery and let's see how we're gonna fix this battery connector. I got a plan. All right, so the plan is I'm gonna pull out each of these pins and I'm gonna slide them into the connector. What did I do with the connector? Right here. So I had a connector off that donor. This is the connector. This is what the connector should look like. I'm zoomed out as far as I can. Let's see, I'm gonna adjust this. This is what the connector should look like here, and this is what the connector looks like there on a really good number. So I think it's okay going in there. Someone melted some stuff, so but I think all the connections are still good on the little board that's there. So I had let's see. So if I do one by one, it shouldn't be a problem. I probably could just like cut this off completely, but I need to do that and then pull it out. Grab out the tweezers. Maybe be easier. It's kind of melted in there, so it's not really easy. Like the wires are just melted together at this point. Maybe I need to pull them both out. Probably try that. Oh, all right. Oh. All right, phone ring. Gotta answer it. Get this out. I can pull these both out. Oh, this connector looks a little different. I think maybe than the other ones. Pull them both both at the same time. It's melted, it's not coming out as easy. Because I can break them away. Yeah, it's not that easy. A little tough. I'm really pulling on these. Can't really tell, but I am. Alright, those two. Well, if I can get these other out, I'll leave those there. Okay, two more. Just make sure they don't touch each other, right? That would be bad. Alright, one there. One there. And we got the two positive leads. Two positive leads left. I can break this one. There it goes. Alright, throw that connector away. This is a new connector. Let's hope these slide in and lock in place. Looks like it's just short of locking in. It's all the way to the front. The lock-in mechanism just short. Oh, it's short by a lot. I wonder if that'll matter too much. I mean, how many people are going to be messing with this? Right? Just as long as it slides all the way in, right? Slide in, slide in. Can't tell, but I'm really, really pushing on these things. 1, 2. Three. 4. Oh. All right, another one. Last one. Just want to go to plug these in, make sure they're all. Oh, that one locked in. Taking out a little bit though. That might work. Pushed it. Yeah, there it goes. They're locking in now. Maybe I just got to give it an extra push. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one. I barely want to get that extra push. There it goes. Alright, I was able to get them all locked in. That was pretty good then. Pretty nice. You can see we're all past the locking part. Alright. Now let's put the board in and see what happens. Right? Let's see. that was. All right. The board, so we can change views. And let me go back. We'll go back over here. I'll try to put this board in. Before I connect the battery, I'll test the battery, just make sure it's good. The battery's probably dead, 100% dead. But goes in here like this. 1, 2, 3. Put all of our ribbon cables in the spot where it's got to be. Sometimes it can be a pain, these ribbon cables will be in the way. All right, it's out. All right. Connected. 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 One connected. Another one connected. Another one. All right. I'm gonna check the battery voltage real quick. It's probably below voltage, but we'll check it and see. One there, one here. Oh, well, it's like a full battery. This battery's ready to go. How about that? So we're gonna plug her in and watch her smoke. That looks good there, right? It looks good to me. I think so. Let's see the screen. Yeah, looks pretty good. Plug her in. Let's see her smoke, huh? Oh, this cable's gonna be in the way. Hold on. Oh man, it looks like the connector broke on the side. Definitely is a tight fit. Definitely tight. I don't know if I should be moving these while it's plugged in, but I think this cable needs to shift over some. Give room for the other cables. Right, it's in there. And this last second connector is gonna break apart. All right, everything's good. I'm gonna see this turn on. How does it turn on? I don't have the back. Is there a button? There are a couple of screws holding the speaker down. Has to be a button, right? Button on the side somewhere. Go back over. All right. Everything's good. It should turn on. Oh, button's up here at the top, I think. Flip it over. Let's watch it smoke as I turn it on. Whoa, there it goes. Hey, no smoke. Phew. I sweat every time. Like, turn it on. Do you know what you're doing? No, I don't know what I'm doing. Galaxy Note Pro. This is an expensive tablet, like a $500 tablet. There's some like glue separation. You can barely see it on camera, but over here, down here, there's glue separation. Or digitizer separating. I'm not sure. It is on now. The next thing is it charging? Let's get the USB power up. Well, is it going to boot up? Well, that's the next question. Will it boot? Come on, boot. All right. Over and 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 over. Focus on this camera sucks. I don't know how. You guys have to look into it. You can see the camera reflection. Right there. Well, that's gonna suck. Let's see if it charges while it's trying to boot up. There's a charger port down here. It'll blow up. Oh look, it's charging. The battery's pretty full, so I expect it not to charge at 1 amp right now. So that's pretty good charge. I'd say the battery is probably like 90 to 100%. It's a new battery, so lucky. Then the next question will be is it not wanting to boot all the way up because the battery is non-original? That's the question. Never mind. This is not the question. DTT. Oh, is it LTE? I don't even notice. Yeah, some trade goes right there. Booting up. We don't have the speakers on it. We'll put the speakers on it. You would have heard the speakers. One speaker. Where does it go? Over here. Yes. With 2 screws. Bada bing, bada boom. The sticker was covering this. And I have a sticker for the battery. If it stays down. Still has the boot screen. Don't know yet. Is it gonna boot? Still waiting. Maybe it's doing system update. Maybe there's another part missing. I don't have the back to it. The only thing I have. Oh, maybe this is the back to it. Never mind, I got the back to it. The back is extremely sticky. I have no clue what's all over the back. Oh no. Oh, doing something. Hello? Okay, maybe this is not the best out of the buy. Extremely slow. Nothing seems to be getting extremely hot. Oh, there it goes. Finally, it's on. This is extremely slow. I don't know who those people are. Someone's singing and playing a piano. Oh my god. It's so slow. What in the world? Oh, there it goes. A little slow. All right, that'll be it. We'll go over. Everything we did. So this came in. It was repaired by another company. Or no, the original owner tried to replace the battery, knocked off the connector, tried to super glue the connector, didn't work. And the minute over through gluing it, it ripped off some pads too, I guess. And then someone else tried working on it. There were some components destroyed. I don't know who destroyed it. There's some solder, some flux paste, and all kinds of stuff on the board. Went ahead, cleaned that up, removed the charging IC that controls charging, and then put a new one on from a donor. We also put the connector from that same donor for the board battery connector and the actual battery connector itself. Yes, all that was replaced. Went ahead, turned it on. It had a full battery, so we didn't need to charge it. And boom, it turns on. Seems to be working. It was a little slow. I mean, that's not a particular problem. Maybe it just needs to be reset to make it run faster. It is extremely slow. But that'll be it. Thank you all for watching.